My friends, I need you to stop what you're doing right now and listen to me, because what I'm about to share with you could put an extra $500 in your pocket when you need it most. I know times have been tough. I know you've been watching your grocery bills climb higher and higher, seeing your medication costs eat up more of your check each month, and wondering how you're supposed to make it all work on a fixed income. I know you've been feeling that squeeze, that worry that keeps you up at night wondering if you'll have enough to cover everything. And I know that so many of you have been hoping, praying even, for some kind of relief, some kind of help from Washington that actually reaches the people who need it most. Well, my friends, I have some genuinely good news to share with you today. There's been a relief payment approved, and it's specifically designed to help seniors and veterans who've been struggling with these rising costs. Now, before we dive into all the details about who qualifies, how much you could receive, and exactly when this money might hit your account, I want you to know that I'm going to walk you through this step by step. Just like we're sitting together at your kitchen table with a cup of coffee, going over your finances together. I'm not going to use fancy government language or confusing terms. I'm going to explain this in plain English, the way a trusted friend would, because that's exactly what you deserve. Now, let me tell you exactly what this relief payment is all about and why it matters so much to you and your family. This $500 payment is part of a broader effort to provide direct financial assistance to Americans who've been hit hardest by inflation and rising living costs over these past few years. The government has recognized that seniors living on Social Security retirement benefits, people receiving SSI or SSDI disability payments, and our veterans who've served this country with honor are among those who need help the most. These are folks on fixed incomes who can't just go out and get a second job or ask for a raise when everything gets more expensive. And Washington has finally acknowledged that the annual COLA increases, while helpful, haven't been enough to keep up with the real cost you're facing every single day at the pharmacy, at the gas pump, and at the grocery store. Here's what makes this relief payment different from other programs you might have heard about. This isn't a loan you have to pay back. This isn't money that's going to affect your regular monthly benefits. This isn't something that's going to create a tax headache for you next April. This is direct financial assistance, a one-time payment designed to help you cover those unexpected expenses or catch up on bills that have been piling up. Think about what $500 could mean for you right now. Maybe that's finally getting that dental work done that you've been putting off. Maybe that's refilling all your prescriptions without having to choose which ones to skip this month. Maybe that's covering that unexpected car repair so you can get to your doctor's appointments. Maybe it's just giving you a little breathing room, a little cushion in your checking account so you can sleep better at night knowing you've got something set aside for emergencies. Now let's talk about who actually qualifies for this $500 relief payment, because this is where you need to pay very close attention. If you're currently receiving Social Security retirement benefits and you're getting those regular monthly deposits into your bank account, you're potentially eligible for this payment. If you're receiving SSI, which is supplemental security income for folks with limited income and resources, you're also in line for this relief. If you're getting SSDI, Social Security disability insurance, because you've become unable to work due to a medical condition, this payment could be coming your way too. And here's something really important for our veterans who are watching this. If you're receiving VA benefits, whether that's disability compensation, a VA pension, or other veteran-specific payments, you're also included in this relief program. The government has made it clear that our veterans, the men and women who put their lives on the line for this country, deserve this support just as much as anyone else. But I want to be completely honest with you about something, because that's what friends do. Not everyone who receives these benefits is automatically going to get this $500 payment. There are some income thresholds and eligibility requirements that you need to be aware of, and I'm going to explain them to you right now so there's no confusion later. For Social Security recipients, if you're earning more than a certain amount in additional income beyond your benefits, you might not qualify. The current guidelines suggest that if your total income, including Social Security, is above $75,000 for individuals or $150,000 for married couples filing jointly, you may be phased out of receiving this payment. Now, I know most of you watching this aren't anywhere near those income levels, but I wanted to mention it just so you have the complete picture. For SSI recipients, the qualification process works a little differently because SSI already has very strict income and resource limits built into the program. If you're currently receiving SSI, the Social Security Administration already knows that you meet the low income requirements. So in most cases, you should automatically qualify for this relief payment without having to do anything extra. Let me tell you about Mary from Ohio, because her story is probably going to sound familiar to a lot of you. Mary is 73 years old, living on her Social Security retirement check of about $1,700 a month. She worked hard all her life as a school secretary, raised 3 kids on her own after her husband passed away young, and she did everything right. She saved what she could, she paid into Social Security with every paycheck, and now she's trying to live on that fixed income. But last year, everything started getting harder. Her property taxes went up, her homeowner's insurance nearly doubled, her grocery bill went from about $300 a month to almost $500. Her Medicare Part B premium came right out of her Social Security check. And then her hot water heater broke down, which cost her $800 she didn't have. She put it on her credit card, and now she's paying interest on that every month. When Mary heard about this $500 relief payment, she actually started crying because it meant she could finally pay off that credit card debt and stop watching those interest charges eat away at her fixed income month after month. Now let's talk about exactly when you can expect to see this money if you qualify. The payment schedule is being coordinated through the same system that handles your regular Social Security, SSI, SSDI, or VA benefit payments. That means the relief payments will generally follow the same direct deposit or debit card schedule you're already familiar with. If you receive your regular benefits on the 3rd of the month, you'll likely receive your relief payment around that same time frame. If you're on the Wednesday payment schedule based on your birth date, your relief payment will follow that pattern. The Social Security Administration and the Department of Veterans Affairs are working together to make this process as smooth and automatic as possible, which means most of you won't have to do anything at all. You won't need to fill out special forms, you won't need to call anyone, and you won't need to apply online. If you're eligible based on the criteria I just explained, the money should simply appear in your bank account or on your Direct Express card, just like your regular monthly benefit does. But here's where I need you to be really careful, my friends, because whenever there's money involved, there are scammers out there trying to take advantage of good people like you. You're going to start seeing emails, text messages, and maybe even phone calls from people claiming they can help you get your $500 payment faster, or claiming they need to verify your information to process your payment. Please, please listen to me on this. The Social Security Administration will never call you and ask for your Social Security number, your bank account information, or any kind of payment or fee to receive your benefits or relief payments. The VA will never do this either. If someone contacts you claiming to be from Social Security or the VA and asks for personal information or money, hang up the phone immediately. Don't click on any links in emails or text messages. Don't give out your information. If you're concerned about your eligibility or want to verify whether a communication is legitimate, call the official Social Security Administration number at 1-800-77-21213 or call the VA directly at 800-827-1000. Now, I want to talk about something that's been on a lot of your minds, and that's how this relief payment might affect your other benefits or your taxes. This is really important, so please pay attention to this part. For most Social Security retirement recipients, this $500 payment should not be considered taxable income. However, I strongly encourage you to keep the documentation when you receive this payment and discuss it with your tax preparer when you file your taxes next year, just to be absolutely sure. For SSI recipients, I have some really good news. This relief payment is being structured in a way that should not count against your resource limits or affect your ongoing SSI eligibility. The government understands that SSI recipients are among the most financially vulnerable Americans, and they've designed this program specifically to avoid creating problems with your regular monthly SSI payments. For veterans receiving VA benefits, this payment is separate from your service-connected compensation or pension, and it should not impact those benefits in any way. Let me tell you about James, a 70-year-old Marine Corps veteran from North Carolina who receives both VA disability compensation and Social Security retirement. James served 2 tours in Vietnam and came home with service-connected disabilities that still affect him today. He gets about $2,000 a month from the VA and another $1,400 from Social Security. When he first heard about this relief payment, his biggest worry was whether getting this extra $500 would somehow reduce his VA benefits or cause problems with his Social Security. He called the VA and spoke with a benefits counselor who assured him that this is a one-time supplemental payment that's completely separate from his regular benefit calculations. James received his $500 in early February, and it showed up in his bank account on the same day he normally gets his VA payment, with a clear notation that it was a relief payment. He used that money to buy a new hearing aid that the VA didn't fully cover, something he'd been needing for over a year but couldn't afford. Now, here's something else I want to make sure you understand, because it's different from some other assistance programs you might have participated in before. This $500 relief payment is what's called a one-time payment, which means you should not expect this money to show up every month or even every year. The government has approved this specific round of relief payments to help address the financial challenges that seniors and veterans have been facing, but there's no guarantee that there will be additional payments in the future. I'm telling you this not to disappoint you, but because I want you to be able to plan appropriately. When that $500 hits your account, think carefully about how you want to use it. If you've got high-interest credit card debt like Mary did, paying that off might be your smartest move. If you've been putting off necessary medical care or dental work, this could be your opportunity to take care of your health. If your refrigerator is on its last legs or your winter coat has more holes than fabric, this might be the time to replace those essential items. And if you're in a position where your immediate needs are covered, consider putting some or all of this money into a small emergency fund, even if it's just a savings account at your local bank where you can access it if something unexpected comes up. Let me also address something that I know concerns a lot of you, and that's the relationship between these relief payments and any state-level assistance programs you might be receiving. If you're getting help with heating costs through LIHEAP, the Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program, this $500 federal relief payment should not affect your eligibility. If you're receiving SNAP benefits, which used to be called food stamps, in most states, this one-time payment is being excluded from income calculations, which means it shouldn't reduce your SNAP benefits either. However, and this is important, every state administers these programs slightly differently, so if you're receiving state or local assistance and you're concerned about how this payment might affect those benefits, I encourage you to reach out to your local social services office and ask them directly. Be proactive about it. Call them before the money hits your account if you're worried, because it's always better to have that conversation ahead of time rather than dealing with a problem after the fact. For those of you who are married and both you and your spouse receive Social Security or VA benefits, you're probably wondering whether you'll each get $500 or if it's one payment per household. Based on how the program has been structured, if both you and your spouse individually qualify for benefits and meet the income requirements I mentioned earlier, you should each receive your own $500 payment. That means a married couple could potentially receive a total of $1,000 in relief. That's significant money that could really make a difference in your monthly budget or help you tackle some of those bigger expenses you've been worrying about. As we get close to wrapping up here, I want to remind you of something important. You've earned these benefits through a lifetime of hard work and sacrifice. If you paid into Social Security with every paycheck throughout your career, that Social Security check you receive isn't a handout or a gift from the government, it's money you earned. If you're receiving VA benefits because you served this country in uniform, you've more than earned that support through your service and sacrifice. And if you're receiving SSI or SSDI because of disability or financial hardship, you're getting help from programs that exist specifically to support Americans who need assistance. There's no shame in receiving these benefits, and there's no shame in needing this extra $500 relief payment. These programs exist because we live in a society that's supposed to take care of its elderly, its disabled, and its veterans, and that's exactly as it should be. My friends, I hope this information has been helpful to you today. I hope I've been able to answer your questions about this $500 relief payment in a way that makes sense and helps you understand what to expect. Keep an eye on your bank account or your Direct Express card over the coming weeks. And remember that if you have any concerns or questions, you can always reach out to the Social Security Administration or the VA directly using those official phone numbers I gave you earlier. Don't let anyone pressure you or scare you into giving out your personal information. Don't fall for scams. And most importantly, know that there are people out there, including me, who care about your financial well-being and want to make sure you get every dollar you're entitled to receive. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I'll be back soon with more updates about your benefits and any other news that affects your financial security.